So, good afternoon or good morning, everyone, depending on where you're tuning in from. Welcome to the very first episode of the Black Marketing Experience, Humanizing the Digital Experience. I hope you guys are enjoying those tunes. I know I feel good. I hope y'all feel good too. My name is Jessica Jose, and I'm the founder of the Black Marketing Experience. This year, I pledge to support more Black businesses and as a growing marketer, I quickly realized there was a gap between large corporations as well as smaller Black owned businesses in regards to the resources and access to education available when developing and implementing marketing strategies. I created a platform that allows Black business owners to learn from fellow Black marketing professionals to hone their marketing strategies and grant access to resources and opportunities less known. Thus, the Black Marketing Experience was born. And today we have a special lineup for you all. We will be welcoming Chris Upperman and Irene Walker from Facebook. So, Chris is currently the Governance Partnerships Team Lead and Manager for Global Strategic Initiatives over at Facebook. Earlier in his career, he was the CEO of Involve, a multinational NGO that is committed to cultivating entrepreneurial ecosystems through the provision of financial assistance and business support. He also served as an Obama administration official at the U.S. Small Business Administration. Chris will be leading today's fireside chat with Irene Walker. Irene is currently the program director of Facebook's Elevate, which she founded to support diverse-owned organizations, nonprofits, community leaders, students, and job seekers in growing their brand and business. Previously, she worked in online advertising at Yahoo, Pandora Media, and other major companies. Now we're going to take you through a short video to learn a little bit more about Facebook's Elevate.
Hello there. This is a great day. It is Friday. It is the end of the week. But actually, I'm going to start off like this. It is Juneteenth. This is a big day. Exactly. This is a big day, honestly. And so I just at least want to kick off by saying that it's an exciting day for us here in America today, for it being this first ever holiday that's like recognized now. So I at least wanted to call that out. My name is Chris Upperman. As Jessica said, I am Chris Upperman from the Governance Partnerships Team within Global Strategic Initiatives at Facebook. I enjoy my time at the company and enjoy on the side doing a lot of things to support entrepreneurs, which is what brings us to this conversation today. Someone who is very special, someone who is a fearless and tireless, fearless advocate for small businesses and Black business owners, particularly. Ladies and gentlemen, I have the wonderful Irene Walker, who we're going to be diving in and having a really good conversation. I want to get to a little bit about who she is, but also her time at Facebook and her career arc coming into Facebook and why she wanted to really focus her attention to building out a program and an initiative and additional efforts to support Black business owners. And with that, I would love to actually turn to Irene to just give a quick introduction and say hello, and then we'll dive right into the conversation.
Thank you, Chris, and thank you, Jessica, for having us here. We're excited, especially because of this day, to be present with all of you. It means a lot to us, more than you know, to be together in what you are doing as far as your journey as an entrepreneur. As Chris mentioned and as Jessica mentioned, I work at Facebook and I've been there for almost 5 years. And I've always been looking for things to do to help our community to give back. And so I had the pleasure of creating a program that was started by myself and other Facebook employees. It was not a program that was initiated by the company at large, but something that we felt as a grassroots that we wanted to share with our family. And so, as we all like to say in Elevate, is you are now part of the Elevate family because of being associated with us. So I'd like to just say welcome to our family. And we hope that you learn a lot of tidbits. The conversation with Kenny was very rich, and we want to be able to help make it even richer to give you application for more of the questions you have about building your business. So thank you again for joining us. Thank you, Chris, for letting me do a quick intro.
Absolutely. And this is going to be a really, really great conversation because, I mean, one thing critically that you said is the idea of application. We're going to be talking about some things here, folks, that you can actually take away. And we hope, actually, if Jessica will have us back, maybe we can come back and actually give an Elevate training. Irene's program that she's put together is phenomenal. And there are many people who have, taken advantage of it and actually really enjoy this. But I think I'll start out by this, because I think at the end of the day, people are really always curious about the people within these companies who are thinking about these types of initiatives or these programs. I think you said this was not something that was like led by Facebook, or this was an initiative that they said, hey, we want you, Irene, to do this. This is your IP. This is something that you came up with. Tell us a little bit about you first, because I think that's going to have a direct impact on where we're going to go with this conversation on why you see Elevate and support of Black business owners is really important.
Okay, so Chris, tell me some of your favorite superheroes that you've grown up with in life.
It's a good question. I mean, and
they can be fictional, they can be real.
Yeah, totally. I mean, look, Martin Luther King, Nelson Mandela got the shirt on.
Exactly.
Wakanda Forever, Black Panther.
That's right.
Spider-Man. I got a lot of these. I can go the comic book route with Wolverine and some of those types of things.
That's right.
But,
That's right. It's so true. And I'm sure for those of you who are watching, you have your own superheroes. My superhero is named Ivory Man. Have you heard of Ivory Man, Chris?
I think I have. I don't know.
Okay, well, I don't know if everyone else has heard about Ivory Man. So I'm going to talk about Ivory Man for a second. So Ivory Man is a superhero, always had a name he went by during the day, and his name was Bill. Now, Bill was a small business owner, and he wanted to try to help Black and brown women who were suffering from adverse effects of surgery. Bill was also a physician, a doctor. And so he invented an instrument that was made out of silicone. And instead of using the steel that many of us as women have to undergo during surgery, those instruments, the steel used to tear and cause additional problems for us. And so what Ivory Man did was he created a silicone instrument that was soft. It would not tear. And that's how he got the name Ivory Man, because it was made out of silicone and it was white. Now, Ivory Man got a patent in China, but he was trying to get one here in the US. I should also say Ivory Man was a Black man, in case I forgot to mention that. And he took on a partner, non-minority partner, who then proceeded to actually steal Ivory Man's invention and got it patented himself and started marketing those products. And that's a typical situation that we see with Black businesses, is their attempt to try to do something good and bring it to the community where they can all benefit. And then all of a sudden it's taken away for various reasons. Maybe it's financial, maybe it's for lack of skill, maybe it's because they just don't have the network to do that. Now, Ivory Man was a Howard Medical School graduate, highly intelligent, came from a very strong family of giving back with roots. And it just so happens that Ivory Man was my father. And my father, Bill Walker, tried so hard to do what was right and what was good. And the effects of that have left an impact and an impression on my mind in terms of how to help and give back to the community. So I know that was a long-winded way to answer your question about me personally, but that's the story I like to share with everyone about why I'm passionate about this. Now, some people have asked me, like, are you trying to vindicate your father in terms of what he's, and maybe I am. Maybe the answer is actually yes, because I don't want another Black business to suffer the way that my father did. And so I have always thought of ways of how can I give back? And he was very big on giving back. We come from strong religious roots of the AME Church from Philadelphia, is where my father is from. And that was part of the Underground Railroad. So as we think about Juneteenth today, especially, why it's so important and why this means so much to be able to speak to all of you here on BME, it's because we realize how long this endemic struggle has been going on. And so Elevate was created to help make the struggle less hard without the help of someone on the inside to guide you. And if I can help get you the resources you need at minimal cost so that you don't have to lose money, that's my goal. I want to make all of you as successful as possible. And it's all free. I made sure that the company gives you these resources for free. So that is the goal of Elevate, is to make sure that we can accelerate your business success. I was an econ major, it just so happened. My father was disappointed I wasn't going to be a doctor like he was, but wanted to make sure that I understood these concepts of economics and to help our communities. Because when I was living in Oakland at the time, I saw what gentrification did to that community. So how can we slow it down? We may not be able to stop it, but doggone it, if I can help slow it down, I'm all in. I'm all in. So we're here for you. So that's my story, Chris.
No, I mean, it's amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, Irene Walker, her TikTok is done. I think we're done at this point. No, but honestly, I mean, you casually dropped so much just there, right? You know, the fact your father personally went through kind of an entrepreneurial struggle, and there's a lot that we can unpack there, and there's some things that I want to draw from that. The idea that there are these processes in place and steps that as Black business owners, that sometimes we do it out of the love, out of the, we want to give back, but we don't do it by not so much the book, but we do it in a way that might not be as rapid and as quick as other people could kind of just know how to do certain things. Mm-hmm. Then you actually talked about the vindication, the idea that now, because you are in a position of influence, you use your time to really think about ways that the company's resources can be directed toward Black business owners. And I think that's really important. And so I guess where I want to go first with that is, and then we'll kind of go directly into Elevate and get a little more detail around what the program is and how you go about supporting these Black business owners. You drew upon your father actually patenting initially in China, coming to America, and attempting to do the same thing, kind of getting caught up in bureaucracy, I'm assuming, and then partners stealing that and understanding kind of maybe the process a little more. Talk to us about how important it is to actually be knowledgeable about process, knowledgeable about how to take a business and, you know, do the appropriate steps to get yourself where you need to be.
That's a very good question. And I'm sure we could spend a lot of time discussing it. But I'll just share my observations. I don't proclaim to be an expert in all things. I would say I try to be a very good observer of what businesses are going through and what they're experiencing. And one of those things that I noticed, to your point of the process of social media, and I hate to tell all of you all of this, but it's true. Social media is the way for you to begin marketing your business if you're not there already. I was just speaking to someone yesterday who said that they are still marketing in the yellow pages.
Whoa.
Now, I don't know about you, but every time I get it, if I ever get a yellow page book, it goes in one place.
Recycle. It's straight to recycling.
That's exactly where it goes. And in fact, Yellow Pages is online. They're not even trying to sell and make books anymore because they know they're not making that much money. And it was interesting, even the agent who this business owner spoke to said, you're better off just trying to get a website and to start using your money towards something else. So, and that is something that I noticed with a lot of Black and brown businesses, especially in the Oakland area where I was really trying to help out the community. And it doesn't require thousands of dollars to get it done. But you have to be aware and recognize and accept, and it's hard. I realize for those of you who may not or have done your marketing in a traditional sense, now we are in a new area for you to grow. Now that's if you want to grow your business.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's number one. Number two is the second observation was that while there is an acknowledgement, you don't understand exactly how to use the platforms. Now, the benefit of my experience from working at Yahoo, working at Pandora, British Telecom, and now at Facebook is I saw the platforms across all of these companies. I've seen them on Google AdWords. I've seen them on Twitter. I see them on Snap. The platforms are all the same. So we're not here to get you to learn how to just use Facebook system. Chris and I have a broader vision. We're just here to teach you how the game works because it's a game.
Yes.
But all the tools are pretty much the same. If you can get the game, I don't care where you spend your money. You don't have to spend a dime with Facebook. But what I want you to do as a business owner is to understand it's all the same types of processes across all of those businesses and the methodology. There might be a couple of tweaks here and there, but for the most part, 70 to 80% of how everything works online is about the same. So that's the second observation. And then my third observation is don't be afraid. That's what we wanted to create Elevate for. My dad was afraid. He didn't know how to recover from someone stealing his invention. He didn't know what to do, and he didn't have enough money. He may have been a doctor, but we didn't live a rich doctor lifestyle. He wasn't a rich doctor because he always wanted to help. He always wanted to give back. And so that was his main goal. So he was afraid. So Elevate is here to help you so that you don't have to be afraid of what you have to do. And I saw a very good question that came in through Kenny, like, how much should I put towards my budget for social media? Yep, it can be a percentage. But you know, they use that expression, Chris, how do you eat an elephant? It's bite by bite.
Bite by bite.
You can't do it all at once. And so it's just like when you're just learning how to tread water and you're swimming and you just want to figure out, just keep it going and you'll get better and better and better. So don't be afraid. You don't have to be a perfectionist to do this work at all.
No, these are such poignant words. And I really appreciate what you just said, because you just kind of gave, you just like laid that out into three kind of prongs. So you talked about yellow pages. I mean, it's funny because I'm like, I haven't even heard of Yellow Pages.
No, I couldn't believe it either. I was like, Yellow Pages.
Fascinating. I mean, really, so you've been in the company now. So I've been in the company for about 1.5 years at this point in time. And you've been at Facebook now for about 5 years. I would love for you to share, just from what you know anecdotally, how big of a machine the company is, and actually this point of how many other people are taking advantage of the platform that has been created, and how it is helping their businesses grow and have real returns and impact with all the things that they're trying to do. Because I think this is the piece that I am often challenged by. So just like you said, someone told you just yesterday, oh, Yellow Pages. I've spoken with numerous family members and even some friends who are like, they're business owners or they're entrepreneurial. They have kind of side hustles or things of this nature. And they are absolutely not on social media. And I just can't fathom this, because that's how all business is transacted now. You have to have a digital presence. So can you talk to us about how important that is and what you've seen other groups been able to do with these platforms, and why it is important for us to take advantage of these platforms?
Yes, a great question, because side hustles, I see side hustles all the time. And I applaud every single one of you who have a side hustle. And it is what makes us as a people so beautiful, because we have these side hustles. We can see, and we're so ingenious with what we create and what we build, because we've recognized that need. So first, I just want to say yay to you for doing that. In terms of answering Chris's question of how large this engine is, it's millions of businesses that we see that are on the Facebook platform. But the percentage of Black and brown businesses who are using this as an opportunity to build a business is very small. The percentage is very low. And so that shows me there's potential for all of us who have side hustles to bring those hustles and to make them more official by creating something on the platform. Now, we've seen businesses, for example, that are all across the US. And we started Elevate before 2020, before the pandemic, before it became a global initiative to more intentionally support Black communities and Black folks. So we've seen that there can be an increase of up to 34% in revenue, Chris, for businesses that learn how to use the platform really well. We've seen a 7% increase in understanding how to use the tools, how to make it easier for you. Now, does it take time and is it hard? Yes. I'm not going to, deny that it takes a little bit of time. But once you get into the hang of it, and once you start generating enough from sponsorships, you heard from Kenny about how do you get influencers to help sponsor your products? How can you just start having more revenue? There are lots of really ingenious tools to use on the platform that can help you to start having this snowball effect, so that you can then actually dedicate more of your budget to social media, and then use that to get someone to take that for you. Now, if you've got the capital to do it now, great. And I would say Kenny's guidance on what you want to spend on budget is good initially. But you don't even have to spend that much. Sometimes it's just, you've got to just play around with it. And so that's a little bit of what we do at Elevate, is to make sure that we put a free mentor who will work with you and to help you set up your campaigns, help you to see how to use the system. And this is an internal person who works within our sales organization, who have been working with companies that are the Fortune 500 companies to help all of us who are small business. Now, if my father had had some of that kind of support, would have taken off. So that's what we're trying to give. Make sure that you can get the resources you need so that you can have that kind of a return on your investment. And as Chris was saying, like the difference of what your business is going to do.
No, and that's great. And I mean, actually, it dovetails very nicely to where I wanted to go next. And you actually kind of gave a little teaser around Elevate. I actually want to draw on that a little more, because you actually shared with us a little bit about Elevate. So we've already told Jessica, wink, wink, we want to come back. We want to do an Elevate workshop with folks, because honestly, we want to get this out to as many people, Black business owners and brown business owners, as possible. But if you could just even, once again, as an additional teasers, almost like the appetizer, give us a little bit more about what Elevate is. Like, walk us through what an experience, because I remember I met you almost 2 years ago, and I was able to go to one of the, at the time, a different kind of namesake, but the same program. And I was just floored at what I was experiencing. I mean, world-class, auditorium. You got the speakers from some of the top companies. You have speakers who have been doing amazing things across the social media landscape, coming in and giving all of their free knowledge out to people who were in attendance. I was just really floored by that. So could you share a little bit about that? Because I think where people probably are going to get excited about this is that they can go online and take advantage of things. But post-pandemic, who knows what the opportunities are and where the upside is.
I know. I'm holding my breath on that post-pandemic, the release where we can start to do these again. But you're right. So when we used to do these in person, our first goal was this, Chris, was we wanted people to feel like they were coming into a room with experts within Facebook who looked like them, because that's important. It's important to me. It's
cultural competency.
I have to have that. I need to see that there's, like, what I'm talking about. If I use a colloquial word, you don't think I'm saying a bad word. You're not going to stop me from talking, because you understand where I'm coming from.
Yep.
So that was what was number one important. The second thing was we wanted to make sure that you didn't feel that you missed out on getting the same type of resources as if you were not a minority. Are we giving you the same red carpet that someone who's not a minority would get? And so that's why we wanted to bring in the top CMOs of different companies who also happen to be people of color. Yeah, we just don't know about it. We haven't seen that it can be done. And so sometimes we block in our minds that we can't do it because we don't see other Black folks doing it.
Yep.
But the truth of the matter is there are, and they're very intelligent. So
shout out to Kenny, actually. I mean, he's just a good example of that, you know?
Exactly. And individuals like yourself too. I mean, it's great to see that there are people who are out in the world, in the community, who want to help these small businesses to grow. So to go back to answer your question, sorry, I tend to go on these tangents.
Oh, this is great.
It's a good day though today, right? Like I hope all of you are saying that to yourself today. Today's a good day, right?
It is a good day.
When we take you through the experience, what we're trying to do is to first inspire you to see that it's possible. And we want to show you opportunities in which you can learn. So we have inspiration events, especially for Juneteenth. We had a social media on Instagram for this entire week. It was what I call the breadcrumb to tomorrow for our big celebration day. And then we want to make sure that we start to train you and that we start to educate you so that you start taking these free workshops. Some of them are recorded, some of them are live. You can always come back to see them. But what I say, the piece de resistance is that you join the Facebook Elevate group, because in that group is where you are going to get the specific deep support that you need to build your business. You will get specific content. You will get access to those mentors I was mentioning. You will get access to ads, credits, opportunities. You get an opportunity to be a part of another network. And so that is where we're saying, join this group, find others who are in your area, and then you will also have specific workshops just for the group. So those are different than if you just go to the website, which is the facebook.com/FB Elevate. But we want you to actually go to the Facebook page and then join the group. That is where the rubber hits the road.
No, that's wonderful. I mean, and once again, you went through a lot of things that I think are really important. And the one thing I actually want to speak to right now is this idea of community, because, you know, that's actually a core value for us right now inside the company. But particular to what you said, it is important for Black business owners and brown business owners to experience others in the struggle. It's not easy being a business owner. It's not easy being a startup or any of these types of things. So you said that was also very critical to you, to make sure that there was a space for these business owners to experience others who are going through that. Can you talk a little bit about the idea of that community that you've been building? Because you came on and you said, hey, you're now part of the Facebook Elevate family. So that's a community. So talk about the importance of that as it relates to kind of this digital presence that one should have, and, you know, why that's an important facet.
Yeah, you know, and I think everyone understands, hey, it's nice to be in the same boat with someone who's having the same types of problems that you're having as well. It's one thing, and I always ask this question, how many of you think being an entrepreneur is easy? Raise your hand if you think it's easy to do, because it isn't. It's hard. And we have lots of fears. And we try to encourage everyone to think through, how can you find someone who is sitting next to you virtually in getting to solve the same kinds of questions? Are you having the same type of an issue? Where else can we support each other? Are you in the same city that I'm in? How can we connect and bring businesses together? And so what we've actually found, Chris, are that there are businesses who link up and make partnerships as a result of being together on Elevate. We find that there are other businesses who use it as an opportunity to market their business. Yeah. One of the businesses that we just recently have discovered out of Elevate, Brooklyn Tea, a couple that were trying to, with Jamaican roots, that were trying to create teas. They started out with 50 teas in their living room, and now they're up to 150 teas with a storefront presence in Brooklyn. Now, if you know what Brooklyn real estate looks like and feels like and costs like, you know that means success for them. So their ability to actually grow exponentially, and then to have other Elevate businesses to support them and to leverage and use them. So I think it's also a great way for you to market your business to others, because and I'm sure how many of you have seen the movie Hidden Figures? We all know Hidden Figures, right? So we don't want Black businesses to be hidden figures anymore. And we have been for so long.
Yeah.
So it's time to change that. So the best way that you can do that, and it's one of the things that we teach, is is your story repeatable? Are you telling your story so that other businesses are sharing your story with someone else? So am I telling someone else about Jessica and Black Marketing Experience? Yes, the answer should be yes. And that's the standard for what we say if you have a good business story, that someone else wants to talk about it to someone else. It's repeatable. That's the gold standard for storytelling and about the origin of your business. So that's what we want that's what we want you to do. And when you are able to connect with others and you share that and you keep practicing that, then that's how you grow your business. That's the benefit of being in a community versus if you're just following a Facebook page and you're just kind of here and there once in a while finding things out. And I'll say this, together we are so much stronger. There's nothing, and there's lots of resources out there. Google has great resources. Snap has got great resources. Twitter, all of them. Yelp, if you're doing things there. But we just want, if we work together to help each other, that's where we say we have the greatest. I mean, we think about the bus boycott, and we saw what economically happened. We saw the value of our dollar.
We're going to go
this world. Yes, I'm sorry I have to do it. Sorry, but not sorry. But we saw the value of our dollar when we did something together, and it had huge impact.
Yeah.
And so when we say this program is intended to be for family, we want to create family out of it. And that means through financial support, moral support, education and training. For sure. Totally. And, family, I always say family likes to get in your business. Yes. But you know your business the best, and what will work for it. And so if this appeals to you, and it may not, some of you may say, nope, that's not exactly what I need. I'm doing fine with my Instagram stories. I'm doing fine with my Instagram reels. But, I had someone, another business based in LA, and he said, I've spent over $600,000 with Facebook. And I was like, that's great. How are you spending it? And he's like, oh, well, I'm boosting posts. Well, if he had spent $600,000 on creating new ads instead of boosting posts, he could have exponentially increased his revenue.
That's where I wanted
to go. And it's one small little tweak.
Oh, man.
It's one small little tweak of how he was spending his money to just see what he could do differently. And so that's what I just want to share with you guys. Those little small tweaks on all these platforms can help you, because there's sometimes this misconception. Don't always just listen to everybody when they say this is the way to do it, because they may not really know. That's why we're saying we're on the inside. We got the inside eye and the scoop on what is going on how this works. And we'll show you, because we want you to be just as successful as that non-minority business spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on their advertising. And you can get there. It is not impossible. So I want you all to say to yourself, I am a fantastic marketer. Say that to yourself right now. Because if you don't say that to you, this is all about affirmations. You can't keep that mental block in your head like, I can't do it. I can't. Yes, you can. I can do it. I can do it. I'm a great marketer.
But guess what? They can do it because they have Elevate now. See, that's also the other kind of, that's the kicker. That's the thing. Well, that is really important, because once again, we talked about this journey. This journey can be isolating. It can be a struggle. There are kind of many valleys that you might experience as you're going about your entrepreneurial journey. But the great thing about it is that there is an Irene, there's a Chris inside a company like Facebook, and so, you know, the Kenny's inside the Snap, who are saying, look, we have knowledge, we have these resources, and we have these tools. We want to get this information out to you. What's fascinating what you just said, because I wanted to actually draw down on this, and this is probably about one of the last questions, and we do actually want to hear from those who are in attendance today. Any questions, we'd love to answer them. You talked about boosting post, kind of very traditional on Facebook Blue. You talked about, you know, Instagram Reels. You talked about some of these things. Let's like spend a little bit of time, to the degree in which you want to go, into the importance of the kind of advertising aspect of the platform. What we've been able to see internally in terms of businesses who really take advantage of that, and how much impact in a positive way that actually can have on a business. Like, share a little bit about that, because I know that that's a critical piece, right? You talk about some of the resources that you provide with the Elevate workshops and some of the online webinars and things of this nature. That ad piece is really a critical component.
Okay, so there's two parts to your question that I want to answer. One is on creating ads, and the second one is on brand. So let's just first talk about what Chris mentioned as far as ads are concerned. So let's say you have a Facebook page right now, and you have 100 people who are following your business page. When you boost a post, you are basically saying, I created content, or I created a little post a year ago, and I want to remind you that I still am doing this type of work. So I'm going to boost the post, and I'm going to pay 30 cents to get it to the people. Your boost is only shown to 100 people. It's just to those people in that group. However, some people think, oh, I'm boosting a post means the whole world gets to see it, and it's not. So when you create an ad, what you're instead doing is, I'm trying to grow and have more people follow me. And it should be one of your strategies. How can you get more people to follow you? And so when you create an ad, you get to expand the size of your group. And so that's the difference between boosting a post and to create an ad. Now, some of you might say, I've got 10,000 followers, I'm just fine. You might be just fine. But the part of business that continues to grow is when you get more people who get to follow you, because there's more opportunities.
Yeah, that's
so you want to start to create that. Exactly. The other thing is, in terms of when you're creating ads and you're thinking about marketing, and we always ask this question, we said, who do you want to market to? And sometimes we get business owners who say, I want the whole world to know about me. Well, if you are a personal trainer that's doing high intensity training, do you want someone who is 82 years old to take up your high intensity training course? They may not be ready for it.
God bless them if they can do it at 82, but probably not the target demo.
Yes, God bless them. Exactly. So that's where it's important to think about, well, who are you trying to target? Who is that audience? Where are they located? And to think about some of the things that are important for them. So those are the small types of quick edits that we really like to encourage people to understand. And again, this is not just on Facebook, but across all. This is just basic marketing 101.
Yep. So
that's the first thing. The second part of your question was in terms of what I consider brand, and how are you helping people to understand? We talked about it a little bit more. Is your story repeatable? It's another thing we teach is, it's WTF. Now, everyone knows what WTF means, right? I'm assuming yes, no. Well, it's not Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It's not where's the food, but it's actually an acronym that we say, what's the feeling? So the F is the feeling, not the bad word, y'all. Get your mind out the gutter.
You're right. Get your mind right.
Yes, exactly. So, but we say, what's the emotion that is associated with your business that you want other people to feel? Not what you feel, but what other people feel. We know what you feel, you feel
right,
it, but it may not be working. But do you want people to feel constipated, upset, angry? Do you want them to feel inspired, motivated, and happy when they see and run into your product or your service? So it's important to think about how you leverage your brand on these platforms. And when we think about reels and stories, and you're like, I don't know what I should do. Should I do a reel? Should I do a story? Should I do a TikTok? Should I do a Snapchat? The answer to all the questions is yes. Yes, do them all. Chris and I just happen to work at the company that has the biggest social media audience. So we're just saying it might help you to start with ours because there's more people you can get. And it's not because we're just trying to say like, just join Facebook. It's just a matter of numbers.
It's a matter of numbers.
But people want to know who you are. I shared my story at the beginning of this session. People want to know who you are. And when you have stories and reels, it gives people more of an insight into how you're doing, especially as we're working in so much of a virtual environment these days. But how can they get to know you? And you don't have to be perfect. That's the good news. People don't want you to be perfect. In fact, we're finding that when you have more of a perfect, what you consider a perfect ad, people are turned off by it. They want to just see you.
Yeah.
Exactly, Chris. They want to just see Chris in the raw. Like, how is he doing? How is he getting through his day? How is he doing his work? And that's what people want to see about your business too. They love it. And in fact, when you see the stories at the top of Instagram, there are more people will just go through stories of the folks that they know as opposed to going through the feed. And so we really have to do what I say. What's the most important body part of your body when you think about advertising? And Chris, what do you think it is?
Fingers.
Yeah. Oh, and yes. And more specifically, it's thumbs. Because what's going to get me to stop scrolling? And that's going to be you. Did you put a story up? Did you put a reel? Did you put something up for me that's information for your service about what kind of benefits come out of using your service? You save people hundreds of thousands of dollars. So those are some of the things that I say are important about using Elevate for helping you to improve your brand and also improve the way you think about advertising.
This is just so great. As Jessica had mentioned before, previously I was in the Obama administration at the White House, and then actually at the Small Business Administration, and I handled quite a bit of technical assistance. So this is actually just a really fascinating thing, because when we were in the government, I really wish I had an Elevate. I actually had.
We're here
to actually help, because at the end of the day, it is really about technical assistance. Sounds kind of like a little wonky word, but help. Technical assistance is equal to help. So actually, all it is just help. Knowledge, information, help, and resources. So Elevate is that, and I'm just really excited for finding more ways that we can actually get this out and share with the audiences. And thank you, Irene, honestly, for what you've done, creating this inside this company, so this company can be accountable back to some of the business owners that exist that have a growth opportunity. And with that, actually, I think this is actually a really great time, because we've talked about a lot of things. We talked about Ivory Man. We've talked about patents. We talked about social media. We talked about ads, boosting posts, the whole thing. I'm sure there are some questions. I'm sure there are some people who are really thinking about some things and really want to open that up. And so I believe either Jessica or Joelle, we're happy to take some questions. We want to have that open dialogue. And then after that, we'll actually share with how you can be in touch with us, because this is not meant to just be a one-way conversation. This is meant to be two-way. We want to hear from you. We want to engage with you.
That's true. And while the questions are coming in, I'll just say, along with the word help that you said, HELP, my other 4-letter favorite word is free, FREE. This is meant to be something that helps you. We don't want you to have to spend any more money and lose it. I think that's the other thing, is we just see so many businesses are like, I just hired an agency and I spent $10,000 with them, or thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars, and it hasn't gotten any better. So it's definitely something that we want you to have to, we want you to avoid having to go through that experience if you're a little bit more knowledgeable about what is going on, and how to guide an agency on what it is that you want done with your business. Perfect timing for our question.
Perfect timing. So first question. I think we jumped from one. I'll go with, all right. What is the process of joining Facebook Elevate? Is it competitive or open to all Black, brown businesses? This is a great question because it's so simple, but it's actually a really great question. Irene.
Yeah, no, it is a good question. And it is not competitive. It is open to all Black and brown businesses. So when we say join Facebook Elevate, it's really, we're saying you join the group. So thank you for whoever asked this question. But it is open to everyone. And so if you go to facebook.com, search for Facebook Elevate, and then you can see where you can join the group. Follow the page, of course, but also join the group. And there's a little application survey form that they just have you fill out. Just, are you a Black or brown business? Yes. Where are you located? That kind of thing. But yes, but it's open. It's open to everybody. It's open to everyone. We're trying to make it easy.
What's the best way to try and find your niche as a business owner? Ooh, this is a good question. This is a really good question.
Yeah, it is. I mean, what have you seen, Chris, in terms when you were working on the Obama administration and the small business administration too?
Yeah, it's a great question, and I appreciate that. I mean, so, all right, I'm a sneakerhead. I love sneakers. I've always loved sneakers. I, love shopping. I'm really into fashion and things of this nature. Probably to the bane of the existence for my wife, because credit card account looks a little different. But no, honestly, a big part of it, actually. So I'm from the South. I grew up in Georgia, and I grew up in the church as well. My mother and father were ministers as well. And, every Sunday, you got to look fresh. You got that suit on, you got your shoes, the whole nine. And so I'm going somewhere with this. I found out at a very early age that there is a really unique way that you can distinguish yourself by the way you look, the way you dress, the types of colors. It's kind of like how we kind of equate the idea of like a navy blue or a dark gray or like a black suit for like boring. It follows the same way in business. What's the thing that makes you stand out? What's the differentiator? Why should I use your product over this other product over here? You talked about Brooklyn tea. I mean, look, we have Sleepy Time tea at the grocery store. We have,
that's right.
Teavana, all these different types of teas. But I'm sure Brooklyn tea, because I've looked them up, they're amazing. Very artisanal, very unique flavors, very unique ingredients. Rose petals, flowers, very, very different floral varietals. So at the end of the day, that if you're going to use Brooklyn tea, that it's going to be different than just some store-bought tea. So the best way to try to find your niche is actually have an identity. Understand what you are trying to be and what you're trying to do and what you want to accomplish, and try to be different first. That's probably what I'll say for that answer now. I don't know, Irene, if there's anything else that you want to add to that.
I think it's a hard question to answer. I've actually been thinking about it so kudos to whoever asked it. But so I don't know the answer, but I will say the things that I use as my bar or my measure is it bringing me joy? And I say this because I recently had a business that I was running off on the side, but it just seemed like a chore. Every time I had to do something for it, it was a chore. And someone said, are you happy as this owner? And I was like, no. They're like, then get rid of it. Work on a business that's going to really bring you joy. And as I get older in life, I just started realizing, like, I want to do some of the things I want to do, not the things that I have to do. So that's the first thing is it something that I stay up late at night? It may be 1 o'clock in the morning and I lost track of time.
Yeah.
And that I could keep going. We talk about this model that Gallup uses for strengths finders. And it talks about when you're using your strengths, you lose concept of time because you're just so into it. So I would say, does your business do that? Now, some of us may be in circumstances where we can't, we're running the family business and you inherited it and that's what you're doing. That's what you got to do. But can you do something with that business to make it more like you? Can you make it more of what the community wants or what your customers want? How can you transform it to have, like you said, a really unique identity? Because if anything, we still want you to make sure that your business, you still pass it down to the next generation. We want someone else in our families to pick it up.
Yeah.
This long-term mentality of what we want to do with it. So how can you help add some more, what I say, some more lighter fluid to the fire that was burning in that business if it's something that you have to pick up?
And then that's great. And I'll also add to, as kind of a last point on this, market research and market analysis is actually really super helpful to actually help you better understand your niche, to the extent in which you can figure out, once again, what makes you different. Should you open up this brick and mortar location on this street?
Mm-hmm.
Once again, we're going to use the tea example just because Brooklyn Tea was up. But if there is a Starbucks, if there is Einstein coffee,
Yes.
if there is a Coffee Bean, if there are, all of these types of businesses, and then you say you want to open up a tea store, good luck. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're going up against some very well-established, global brands. And sure, you can do it. I don't want to say that you can't, but I'm certain you understand the uphill battle that you're going to have. So actually 10 miles down the road in an area where there isn't a coffee shop or where there isn't a tea store or something of that nature, some things.
Yeah. Well, there's definitely a trend that I would say these days of people not wanting to go to the big Starbucks anymore. At least for me.
No, it's true.
I don't want to go to Starbucks. I don't want to go to any of these big trendy places. I want to go to those, little shops. I want to support them. In Oakland, there was Red Bay Coffee.
Oh, nice.
Coffee that's sourced from Africa.
Yeah.
I want to buy from them from now on. There are skincare products, beauty products, fashion. There's a company called Domestic that does these beautiful dresses and African textiles. I want to go to them. I don't want to go to Nordstrom. I don't want to go to Macy's. I don't want to go to those stores anymore. I want things that are very unique. Yeah. You can make your business very unique as well. It's just about how you tell that story. And I think that's the one thing that all of you as business owners can continually work on. You're never done with it. Is how do you strengthen your story of your business and what it is that you offer people? We like to tell people that if you can do something, remember earlier we said, is your story repeatable? Is your business story repeatable? If you knew that every time Black Marketing Experience, for every minute that they had this show on, was giving $100 to a nonprofit in another country as a result of this, how much better would it make you feel to talk about Black Marketing Experience and what they're doing and how they can do something? So, and the benefit that you got of it, you feel good because you're like, I contributed to that extra minute. I contributed to an extra contribution to this nonprofit. It was Thurgood Marshall Scholarship Fund, for example. It could be anything, but that's what you can do. You can create sponsorships. I love the thing about influencers. Can you find the right influencer for you? And I think that's something that we need to talk about at another time, is how do you find the right influencers? Because they're influencers you follow, and just because you follow them may not be the right one for your business. So I think it's really about sitting down and having someone talk you through so that you're aware of what it is that's going to work for your business, and that you can make it more of a niche for you and for everyone else who are your customers.
Absolutely. I think we have time for maybe another question or so. So if there's anything else up, happy to jump to the next one. Oh, okay. Does it put a stain on your business / social media presence if you focus on a few different things rather than a specific niche? Oh, okay. I see we're in the niche category. I guess I'll just come out straight out the gate and say this. And Irene, I would love to get your perspective on this as well.
Sure, yeah.
That it's, what's the saying, like a mile wide and an inch deep. And usually that speaks to being fairly shallow, not having a depth of knowledge, not necessarily having, kind of the real deep understanding of any one thing. I think that can apply in business as well. And I see this actually a lot with particularly Black business owners, where we come out the gate and we're trying to do all the things. We want to do, we want to serve, like if I have a restaurant, I try to make this very expansive menu, when in fact, what you really find, particularly within some of these kind of restaurants, particularly these smaller ones, that they just do a couple things very, very well. And that's what people come there for. I mean, you see it on TV all the time, these roadshow type of Food Network type of shows where they'll go, And it's like, you're known for this one brisket sandwich that might put a little bit of cheese on it, a little bit of onions and this and that and a third. And you look in the menu and it's like maybe 4 other things at most. And it's like, no, we make this brisket sandwich. And every day I'm flipping these brisket sandwiches. Honestly, that's really what people, you go to places because you're like, oh yeah, I get the great product that at that one place, or I get that great service at that place. So I would say I would focus on something really, really good and something simple. And in my opinion, that's what I'd say. What about you, Irene?
I really like your answer. I think that's great. The refrain I might put on this question is on the word stain. I don't know if it stains your presence. However, I would like for the person that asked this question, how does it affect your customer when they see that you have a few different focuses as opposed to one? So I think it's important for you to think about, how is your customer going to receive that? Oh, you're selling shoes, but I see that you are opening a restaurant. Like, so are you confusing them at all to Chris's question?
Yeah.
Or to your answer, I'm sorry, to answer to the question.
Oh no, totally. I think we have time for maybe one more. Ooh, what is the best way to resonate with your specific audience? Yeah, Irene, I'll let you go with this one first.
Yeah, I mean, there are so many different ways. One of the things that I was mentioning earlier was just really being authentic with them. And trying to understand what it is that you need. One thing that we've seen, and I know all of you have heard these things many times before, so I know I'm not sharing anything that's new, but we as business owners sometimes think we know what our audience wants. Now, one of the experiences when we talked with Brooklyn Tea is they said they had people telling them all the things that they wanted. And that's how they were able to expand their tea collection. And to the point where in Brooklyn, their customers were coming in and helping them to clean up when the store would close. When the wife had to be by herself closing up, they would stay in the store to make sure she could close up the store so she wouldn't have to get home by herself and be alone in the store. That's what you want with your audience, is that they feel attracted to you, to help you and to support you. So I think it's about understanding what your audience feels. And the reason that they felt that way is because they took all the feedback from their audience about what it is. So put a poll on your Facebook page or send out an email survey to your audience. Ask them, what is it that you'd like to see? And you're not going to get a whole bunch of responses, but you can get a couple of things. Just what are things that you could edit? And I think once you feel that you are responding to what your audience wants, then they're going to feel like, oh yeah, they're really listening to me. I really want to continue to support them. They're doing some great work. So that's one of the things that we tell people is we say GOY, another acronym, get over yourself. It's not about you.
It's not about you.
It's not about you. It's about the people you serving. And the same thing with Elevate. We had to do the same thing. We didn't create this program because we thought we knew. We just kind of asked, well, like, what is it that you want? What more can we do? As part of the group, there are lots of polls and ways that you can also say, this is what I'm looking for. So we say that this program, we work for you. You tell us what it is you need and we give it to you. And that's the same way I think would help all of you as business owners with your audiences.
So this has been a great conversation, Irene. Honestly, thank you so much for sharing.
You're welcome. I'm so happy we could be here, do this together.
Yes, we're going to keep doing this, and we hope to be back once again to actually give you a Facebook Elevate workshop. Irene, tell us how we can be in touch with you, or how we can find out more information about Elevate.
So you could go to facebook.com/FB Elevate. That's our website. You can also go to facebook.com and look for the Facebook Elevate page. And as we were saying earlier, I would like for all of you to join the group. So there's a button that'll say join group. And then you can also find me on LinkedIn or Irene on the Rise on Instagram. So that's how you can find us.
And I'm Chris Upperman. You can find me on LinkedIn is again also Christopher Upperman. You can find organizations that I'm associated with at Involve Global, Involve Entrepreneurship, and most recently Law Champs. It's a tech company.
You're the man. This is the man, everyone.
Not at all. Not at all. I'm here to serve, and try to do big things for our community. But once again, check us out. I'm on Instagram as well, Christopher.Upperman, and Twitter and other places as well. You can check me out. Once again, Christopher Upperman. But this is great. Jessica, thank you so much for having us on the Black
Jessica
experience. This has been great.
Yes. Thank you, everyone, for being a part. We can't wait to see you again.